Today is 3rd June, the 3rd anniversary of Insolvency Law Academy. 3 years is a very short time in the life of any institution. You are still in your infancy, a toddler. I distinctively remember the day when we were sitting in the room of late Dr. Vivek Dev Roy discussing the future of insolvency law system in the country and also discussing some global developments. It was during that discussion that the whole idea of setting up an institute of excellence in insolvency came up. We discussed how the IITs and IIMs were set up as a part of the nation building, and then why not as a part of the new India we build an institute of excellence in insolvency as well. Well, to cut the long story short, the responsibility fell on me. We decided that this has to be a market-driven institution. It has to be something which comes out of the market rather than created by the government. But at the same point in time, keeping this in mind, that like it happened with the IIMs, even ILA could be, in times to come, could also be taken over by the government. The whole idea was to build it as the fifth limb of the insolvency architecture, together with the 4 other pillars, which are well known. I am not going to talk about that. We have taken long strides, even though it has been 3 years. Very firm and formidable. Our goal, though multifold, can be, in a way, summarized in 3 headlines. The first and foremost, to support the government, policymakers, the regulator, and the market itself in the development of a robust insolvency system, industry, and market players who can contribute in the development of a sophisticated world-class insolvency system befitting a mature economy. The second, to help the whole ecosystem in contributing in the national aspiration of becoming a Viksit Bharat, a developed nation, a developed economy by 2047. And this is not just there for IBC, but the whole ecosystem where insolvency restructuring plays a role in some way or the other in contributing to the GDP of the country. And the third, to take thought leadership in the area of insolvency. India has been dependent for many decades on imported best practices, ideas, systems, and all kind of standards that have been built over the last 4 to 5 decades of the modernization of the insolvency systems. What we forgot all this time was that insolvency and many other sciences, policies, thinking, systems, laws existed in our ancient India in one form or the other, and we could have actually turned back blow the dust over those ancient texts, literature, and see, rediscover all the foundational values that could very well form the basics of the modern economy, finance, and law. And therefore, using them, take thought leadership. And in a way, while we look global to learn from the experiences of the other economies, but we think look global, think local, and take thought leadership in that process. In the last 3 years, as I said, we've done a lot of work. We've done 3 very successful conferences. We've produced deeply researched literature, which has already made impact on the policy. Green shoots on the ILA appeared in the first year itself. We built partnerships at the global level with prestigious country institutions. We have collaborated with some of the best institutions. We have labored hard to produce some very out-of-the-box thought papers, which we believe will go on to shape the policies and the thinking of our insolvency system in many years to come. We have an excellent global advisory board that comprises of some of the top leaders and thinkers of the world who continue to guide our work. We have a fraternity of some of the most renowned and celebrated academics which continue to guide us in our work in producing scholarship. We also have an excellent association with the market and the industry, even though we could do with some more support. In the next 4-5 years, we have our agenda set. I can't talk about all of that today, but I must say that my book, which is not the ILA book, but my book, which will be released on 7th of July, sort of articulates that in some way, where I'm hoping that the 33 milestones that I have proposed for the policymakers to achieve our goal of 2047 developed nation will become ILA's work over the next 4 to 5 years. But this year in particular, I must say that my focus and that of the ILA would be to what I describe as giving wings to the Indian dreams, the dreams of the youth. Like America did for its youth and created the American dream many decades ago. Both of them, the American dream and the Indian wings, have a very deep association with the insolvency system that we give to the country. This is what we will focus on this year. I must also say that no institution is built by one or a few individuals. Even though you need a handful of committed and dedicated leaders who lay a solid foundation of the institution on which the edifice can be built of a future long-standing institution. But at the end of the day, It is a collaborative effort. And I therefore look forward to collaborating with you all. Finally, two things. One, I must say that the future of this country, as also of the insolvency law and system and industry, lies in the hands of the youth of the country. Those who may be studying in the schools, colleges, law schools, management schools, accounting schools, and others who eventually will trickle into the insolvency industry and will drive it in one form or the other. We need to invest in them. We need to handle them. We need to trust them. We need to rely on them. We need to give opportunities to them. And that is an obligation that all big firms, whether it's the Big Four, whether the Indian Big 5, 7, 10, or the law firms have. And therefore, that is a revolution that we must collectively start and give the best of the energy to it. Lastly, I'd like to thank my board, especially Justice Sikri, who has provided his leadership, guidance, and has been committed to it from the day one, being available to the organization and to me and to others as and when we need. I also like to thank all our collaborators, those who support our various chairs, our programs, our projects, the various scholars who continue to head the Insolvency Scholars Forum and the Emerging Scholars Group, and the various other chairs and projects, and also, of course, my team headed by Vaidehi Gulati. All of them work very hard to achieve the vision of IILA. They realize that what they're doing is not just working for the institution, but writing history. Institutions are created with deep level of commitment, clearly understanding what its role in the economy and the country would be. I am sure decades from now, when one will turn back to see how this institution was built, it is the youngsters who have worked with me as a part of my team in the ILA who would be remembered and who would surely take pride, which I'm hoping, in building one of the important institutions in the financial architecture of the country. Thank you.